Is any tape around here? Ready. Got it. Yeah. Mustangs are coming out of the Cache Classic where they played back to back to back. 3 teams, 3 games, 3 nights in a row, and they got their first win against Westside by 17 points in that Cache Classic. Tough assignment tonight against a team that's been a doormat. The 4A Ogden Tigers are in Region 5. They are 5-1 coming into this game tonight. Their lone loss against a Weber team at Weber by only 3 points. Hunter and Jackson Clark averaging 36 points per game between them. Will probably be pretty hard to stop for the Ogden Tigers. It's Cordell Welch for the Mustangs, almost 14 points per game. He's basket with. He's just a sophomore as this young Mountain Crest team tries to find its way tonight against the Ogden Tigers on the game of the week.
Cyclist. Soy un ciclista.
I am a cyclist.
Victoria. I train for it. I sacrifice for it. While they play, I train.
I conquer roads others can't.
You're driven to be the best, so you should train on the best. The 2014 Proform TDF, the official winning bike of the Tour de France. It's the ultimate cyclist's training experience. With iFit and Google Maps, you'll ride the Tour. Choose any stage of the Tour or nearly every road on Earth and dig in. You'll see, feel, and ride the Tour. Climb like never before. Courchevel, Galibier, even Alpe d'Huez. Only the TDF gives you a 20% incline and decline. See it all right in front of you on our 7-inch color touchscreen. And Power, our advanced power meter. With a TDF, you can ride almost on the planet. You can get the TDF with 0 down. Get yours today. Train better tomorrow.
I am a cyclist, and this is where I train.
The Game of the Week on the Valley Channel is brought to you by Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Wendy's of Cache Valley. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Mountain Star Cache Valley Hospital. Together, we're greater. Lewiston State Bank, strong and vibrant for over a century. Cache Valley Electric, a tradition of excellence since 1915. New Smile Dental. Experience dental care. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back what you've been missing. LSS Insurance, Bob Larson. Personalized insurance coverage for your family and business. The Book Table, your family store for books, music, toys, art, and much more. Planet Fitness of Logan. No gym intimidation and only $10 a month. Aspen Dental. Get that gorgeous smile you've always wanted. The Logo Shop. We logo stuff. All kinds of stuff. And the Valley Channel, Cache Valley's television station for over 25 years. Hello everyone and welcome to Hiram, Utah. The site is Mountain Crest High School and you're watching the game of the week hosting Ogden tonight. I'm Eric Olson. I'll be along with the call for you here all night long. Well, Ogden comes into this game 5-1, 8-14 last year, 6th in Region 5, and what a turnaround so far this year with that 5-1 record under fifth-year head coach Sean McQueen. They boast a pair of brothers, Jackson and Hunter Clark, 6'2" and 6'4" respectively, 36 points between the two of them. For the Mountain Crest Mustangs, it's Cordell Welch that leads the way. 13.5 points per game, only 1-5 on the season. They beat West Side in the Cache Classic 57-40 in that last game of the Cache Classic. They're getting ready for the national anthem here at Mountain Crest, so we're going to take a timeout and be back with the starting lineups and the tip-off. You're watching Ogden at Mountain Crest on the Game of the Week.
People used to ask,
"Where's the beef?"
and Wendy's always had the answer. But now,
where's the beef?
Means something different because some use beef frozen from as far away as Australia.
What's wrong with Australia?
But if you ask Wendy's, the juiciest hamburgers are made with beef raised
Right here.
to get here so fast it never needs to be frozen, unlike some other guys. Funny that beef from close by makes Dave's single and double so deliciously different. Score one for the guys without cool accents.
National anthem here at Mountain Crest High School as we get ready to start this ball game between Ogden and Mountain Crest. Mountain Crest 5A, but with 3A numbers. Of course, everybody knows about the splits and the realignments. First for the Mountain Crest Mustangs as we check starting lineups. David Faith at number 30, a junior at 6'1". 33, Creedon Folger is going to get the start again tonight. Folger is 6'3" and a junior. Brady Hall, number 5, just the sophomore, will run the point at 5'11". Nick Nethercott at 6'4" and 8 points a game, a junior. And Cordell Welch, the 6-foot sophomore, as the Mustangs only have 2 seniors on this entire squad. For the Ogden Tigers, junior Carson White at 6'1", averages 8 points per ball game. Jackson Clark is number 10 for Ogden at 6'2", 17.67 points per game. Hunter Clark, another senior, number 15 at 6'4", 18 points per game. Keon Bergout, the junior, at 6'5", and Jalen Pace at 6'1", a junior, to round out the starting 5 for the Ogden Tigers. Jalen Pace, number 32, had 34 on the early roster. He's 32 tonight as the Tigers get it rocking and get themselves ready to take on the Mustangs. Ogden with wins over Morgan, North Summit, Ben Lomond, St. Joseph's, and Bear River, and a loss against 5A Weber. That was at Weber, 56-53, only 3-point loss there. Mountain Crest has lost to Box Elder in a game you saw right here, That was an entertaining ball game, a 7-point loss as the Mustangs were competitive. Springville blew them out of the bill 430. Beat them by 13. Logan beat them by 5, and then Preston beat them by 27 points. So the Mustangs still trying to finish. They were hot against Westside in their win. Welch with 12 points. Hall. Tolman came off the bench, 7 boards and 4 points, 8 3-pointers versus Westside for the Mustangs. It's Nethercott and Clark. Set to tip. Faitha will shoot this. They start every game from there. Seems like Faitha always gets the first shot of the game, and he's got a green light to shoot. He and Welch both they'll throw it up from anywhere. Clark waits for the screen, backs it out, now gone low and away by Welch. Welch trying to dribble out of trouble. Clark wanted it back. He took umbrage to create a turnover of the game, or to giving away the first turnover of the game. Here's Welch, 3-ball, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc for the Mustangs in the early going. Berghout with the board, and now he comes back and gives it to Hunter. Jackson Hunter fires for 3, won't go. Rebound knocked out of bounds off of who? Off of Ogden. Jackson Clark is 10, Hunter Clark 15, both seniors. And Faitha hands back to Hall. And Hall lobs low to Welch. Welch has it taken away. So each team with a turnover. Welch stayed back and knocked that one away. Each team with a turnover and no points. All the shootings come from outside of the arc so far as Jackson Clark brings it across the timeline. Hunter Clark hands it off to Jackson Clark. And another turnover. Steps into the passing lane. Clark takes it away from him. They're going to say he didn't establish himself back in bounds before he grabbed the ball. So it stays at this end. Welch will try another 3-pointer from the corner. Got it. Cordell Welch puts the Mustangs on the board, and it's 3-0 early. Mountain Crest over Ogden. We've played just over a minute and a half here in Hiram. Berghout hands it off to White. White back to Berghout. He puts it on the floor and then finds his teammate Pace, and Pace is stuffed. Faitha with the bounce pass ahead to Cordell Welch. Too hard on the layup attempt. And Ogden bringing it back the other way. Clark across the timeline. Berghout runs over Hall, and they're going to call offensive foul. 3rd turnover for the Tigers. Berghout with the foul. Faitha brings it across the timeline. Hall lobs underneath to Nethercott. He leans in from the left side and scores. Nick Nethercott makes it 5-0 Mountain Crest. The Tigers have yet to find the net. Clark hands to Clark. And now he throws it away. Jackson Clark, 4th turnover for Ogden. Hall, 3-ball. Boom! Timeout Tigers. 8-0 Mountain Crest in the early run here in the 3rd period. And Coach Sean McQueen wants to talk about it a little bit as the Mustangs hit 2 early 3-pointers and get a layup from Nick Nethercott to jump out to an 8-0 lead.
Tire and Automotive, Diamond Orthodontics, Park Power Company, Logan Eye Institute, Playground Fitness and Performance.
30-second timeout. As the Mustangs still talking about it. Coach McQueen didn't talk long to his team. Just telling them it's time to wake up. Clark gives it off to White. And Clark baseline left. The defender fell down. He decided not to take the shot. And White ends up with it. The Mustangs keeping the Tigers out of the paint. When they try to get into the paint, there's a bunch of white shirts there. Clark for three. Too hard. Nethercott with the board. Nethercott across the timeline. Hall faked the three, kicks it back out to Faitha. He'll fire it up. Too hard off the back of the iron. Nethercott fights for the board. But it's Jackson Clark who comes up with it. White in traffic. Foul. It'll either be on Faitha or Hall. Both of them got a piece of him. They're going to call it on Faitha. First turnover. Or first foul, excuse me, on the Mustangs. Here's Tolman and Tupuola into the ball game as Folger and Welch sit. Hunter Clark in the paint. Jump stop, won't go. Rebound, gets his own, then loses it. Ogden wanted a foul, didn't get the call. Tupuola down low. Keone Tupuola makes it 10-0 Mountain Crest as the Mustangs are blitzing the Tigers here early. Under 4 minutes to play in the first period. Here's Clark, his three, won't go, rebounded by Hall. Hall gives it off to Nethercott. Nethercott, Tupuola, and he nearly loses it out of bounds before giving it back to Nethercott. Faitha fakes the three this time, drives in, double clutch shot won't go. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul on Pace. Faitha gets two. Faitha hits the first. Faitha hits both, and the Mustangs out in front, 12-0. White waits for a cutter. Berg out flash, but they didn't find him. Now the skip pass from Clark to Clark. Mountain Crest in that zone, packing things in. Here's Clark kicking back under to White. He waits for the traffic to fly by, and finally, the Tigers are on the board at 12-2, under 3 minutes to play. And here's a steal in the backcourt. Clark lays it up and in. Jackson Clark poked it away, and Hunter Clark got the layup. 12-4, Mountain Crest. Nethercott sees an opening, takes it. Like he was fouled by Warner. It was Warner with his first. Third team foul. Stepping up and hitting the first free throw. Mountain Crest 3 for 3 in the early going from the free throw line. And I jinxed him. Nethercott missed it. Tupuola comes up with the board in the far corner. Back to Nethercott. Nethercott blocked by Clark. Rebounded by White. White gives it off to Hunter Clark. Thinks about a three and decides against it. This time he pulls the trigger. Rims out, and Welch with the board. Welch in a hurry into the front court. Tupuola baseline jumper, way too hard. Rebounded by Clark. He's fouled by Hall, and Brady Hall is going to pick up his second team foul and his first. Tigers trailing 13-4, now make it 13-6. Off the Clark lay-in. At the other end, the Mustangs turn it over, their third of the first quarter. Mustangs with 3 turnovers, 5 for Ogden. Hunter Clark fakes the 3, steps inside, a lot of contact. Clark comes up with it, and eventually Tolman comes out with it. Then he turns it over. Jackson Clark, his shot won't go, and Hunter Clark tracks down the board, and a foul down inside on Tupuola. And a little bit of nasty starting to come out down there as Tupuola and Clark get into it. Bo Robinson, number 11, into the game for the Mustangs, along with Welch, Tolman, Tupuola, and Hall. And now the official's going to come over and talk to Hunter Clark and Brady Hall. Faitha is going to replace Hall. We're going to have Hall take a seat for a minute. Although it was Tupuola and Clark that were getting into it. Hall was having a little bit of a shoving match with Clark before the ball was inbounded. Pace finds Hunter Clark. He kicks it back to Warner as they run a weave outside. Trailing by 7 with 1 minute to play. Ogden finally gets into their offense, and it's Clark. Hunter Clark with 4 points, and Ogden back to within 5 on an 8-1 scoring run after Mount Crest opened a 12-0 lead. Welch with a long 3. He fired that one up from Logan. Welch has 2 triples, 6 points, and a 16-8 Mountain Crest lead with 40 seconds to play in the first period. Misfire by Clark. He gets it back, misses again. And here comes Faitha and the Mustangs. Welch, hot hand, how hot? Cooling down. But Welch saves it back in. He came from all the way over the far sideline and back in bounds on the near baseline. Good hustle. Faitha working against Warner. Now it's taken away. Here come the Tigers. Clark was fouled before he got into the lane. They're going to call a foul on Tupuola. Tupuola comes off the bench and picks up 2 fouls. Dalton Andrus into the ball game now. Andrus, the 5'9" junior. And Folger will come back into the ball game as well. Tupuola with 2 fouls sits down. 8.6 seconds to play in the first period. Jackson Clark shaking, baking, kicking it back outside. Finds Nate Bingham, and the 3 at the buzzer. It's 16-8 at the end of the first quarter. Mountain Crest with the early lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to give special recognition to Northern Utah Ice Center and Dr. Christian.
In Utah, nothing is greater than our liberty. And going is always greater than stopping. So when we look for an emergency room, we don't just want one we can trust. We want one we can trust to respect our time. That's why Mountain Star ERs offer board-certified emergency specialists and short wait times. Mountain Star. Together, we're greater.
16-8 was the shot at the end of the quarter. Didn't go. And the Mustangs lead the Tigers after 1. Hunter Clark with 4 points to lead the way for the Tigers. 6 points for Cordell Welch to lead the Mustangs. Mountain Crest still in the huddle. Ogden ready to go. Bingham holds, finally finds White. Now Warner in the corner. Warner into the paint. Awkward looking shot, but it doesn't matter if it goes down. And it's 16-10. Mountain Crest 12-0 lead down to 6. Now back up to 8 with another caught layup. Mountain Crest jumped out to a 12-0 lead. Since then, they've been outscored 10-6 by Ogden. As Ogden misses and Fatha comes up with the board. He's wide open. He'll fire. He'll hit. 4 3-pointers for the Mustangs. They're gunning from outside. Knocked away by Nethercott, and the ball hits the sideline and out of bounds. Stays on this end. Hall will come back into the ball game. He's going to replace Andrus. Well, Ogden had the Mountain Crest lead trimmed down to 6. Now it's back up to 11. 21-10 Mustangs. Ogden coming into this game 5-1. They've played a lot of 3A and less opponents, but they played a 5A opponent in Weber that's a pretty good squad. As a foul called on Hall underneath. It's a pretty good Weber squad, and only lost by 3 at Weber. Brady Hall picks up his second foul. At the free throw line, Carson Warner, the 6'2" senior, averages 3 points per game. He's right on his average right now. He's got 4. All 4 of Ogden's points here in this second period by Warner. Hall takes right, goes left. Nice move. Fatha gives it to Welch. Welch underneath finds Nethercott, powers it up and in. The bucket and the bash, and he'll go to the line. Nethercott with 7 points to lead all scorers, and he'll go to the line for 1. Nethercott hits the free throw, and Mountain Crest matches their largest lead of the game, 24-12. Advantage by a dozen for the Mustangs. Hunter and Jackson Clark average 36 points a game between them. Tonight so far, they've only have 6. Carson White gets in close and makes it a 10-point ball game. Mountain Crest 24-14. 6 minutes to play in the first half as Folger kicks it back out to Fatha. And he plays catch with Hall out on the perimeter. Hall kicks it back out to Nethercott. Nethercott strong to the hoop. Count it. Nethercott was 7 here in the second period, and it's a 26-14 Mustang lead. Hunter Clark gets inside, throws it up, almost goes, and he'll go to the free throw line. Catch who that foul was on. It was on Folger or Fatha. I believe believe it was on Folger, his first. Free throw good by Hunter Clark. He's got 5. Bingham will sit. Berghout replaces him. Hunter Clark misses the second free throw. Good position by Nethercott to corral the board, and it's a 26-15 Mustang lead. Under 5.5 to play here in the first half. Faitha handles out front. Hall working on White. Leans in from the left side. Short. Berghout clears the board. Pace kept it alive and knocked it away from a couple of Mustangs. White, little floater. Good. Carson White with 6 points for the Tigers. 26-17 Mountain Crest. Faitha with Hunter Clark trying to pick his pocket. Looks inside, finds Wells. Turn, shoot, miss. Rebound by Warner. Warner up high for that board. Brings it across the timeline, kicks it out. Nethercott tries to keep it alive, but he saves it back to Hunter Clark, who misses the 3. Faitha, shaking, baking, in playing soccer, picks it back up. And Hall backs it out. Faitha looking for help. Welch provides it. Folger in low. Breeden Folger hits the first bucket of the game for himself. And now all of the starters have scored. 28-17 Mountain Crest. Midway through the second period. Warner looks in. Berghout with the bounce. White. Fakes, raises, misses. Folger clears the board. Welch quickly ahead to Hall. Up and under, layup. And Brady Hall has 5 points. Timeout Ogden, as it's up to a 30-17 advantage. Largest lead of the game for Mountain Crest, as they lead by 13. 3:42 play in this ball game. There's a look at Hall. In from the right side, lays it up on the left. With his flowing locks of love as he runs down. I remember hair. Well, next week we'll have a fun one for you. Skyview and Logan. That should be interesting. And then a break. So get into the Christmas break time. Back at it after Christmas is over. We'll have all sorts of in-valley action. So many, now that there's 4 schools, there's so many in-valley games, you don't even have to go out and look for games against anybody else. There's plenty of games with the valley schools taking each other on. Mountain Crest leads 30-17 with 3:42 to play here in the first half. They used a 12-0 run to take the lead. Ogden whittled it down to 6, but then Mountain Crest has built it back up to 13, and here's a turnover by Ogden. 6th of the game, only their first turnover here in this second period. Hall across the timeline to Welch. Welch to Faitha. They close out on him in a hurry. He likes to shoot the 3. So does Welch. He's got 2. He's got 3. Cordell Welch with 9 points. All of them coming outside, from outside the arc, and it's a 33-17 lead for the Mustangs. They hit 8 against Westside in their win the other night, and now a turnover by Ogden, their 7th. They have 5 triples here in the first half. Welch has 3 of them. And Nethercott comes into the ball game. Now you saw White's reaction as the ball was thrown away by the Tigers. And the Mustangs leading 33-17 look to increase their advantage. Out front to Nethercott. Now to Faitha. Foul underneath as Faitha misses the three. Hall hit the deck. This one started getting chippy about midway in that first quarter. And there's been chip going on ever since. Welch, can he hit 4? Yes! Cordell Welch with 12 points on 4 3-pointers here in the first half, and it's a 19-point advantage for the Mustangs. They're clicking on all cylinders defensively. They're suffocating the Tigers. Ogden hasn't shot well, but the Mustangs aren't letting him have easy shots. Ogden's shooting everything from distance, and when they do get inside, there's 3-4 guys in white collapsed around him. Warner works outside, gives it off to White. White's had a hot hand for the Tigers, misses this one. Bergout pushes off, and they got him. Bergout with his second foul. 6'5", the tallest player out there. And the junior has to go to the bench. And the Mustangs with a chance to push their lead up over 20. Hayes, it's a good time to tell you that if you go to the Factory Pizzeria and ask for the holiday special, you're going to get a large 2-topping pizza, small nachos, and 4 sodas for only $24.99. That's the holiday special at the Factory Pizzeria there on South Main. Call them up, ask for it tonight. Welch gives it off to Nethercott. Nethercott loses it out of bounds. 5th turnover for the Mustangs. We enjoyed some pizza from the Factory Pizzeria here before the game. I particularly enjoyed the sausage and pepperoni pizza. Scientific study came out this week saying that actual fat, like in butter and cream and things like that, is actually better for you than people thought. I am waiting for the study that says sausage and pepperoni is good for you. Then I'm going to town. There's an offensive foul on the illegal screen on Ogden. 16 fouls for each team, and the Mustangs with a 19-point lead in the ball with 85 ticks on the clock. Oh, Faitha loses it. But Clark has trouble with it, or he had a layup. As it is, the Tigers do have the ball. Warner to Clark. Now Jackson Clark tries to throw the lob to White, and it hits the rim. It bounces right out front to Hunter Clark, who misses, and it's Jackson Clark that cleans up. 4 points for Clark. Jackson Clark. Hunter Clark has 5. Nethercott loses it. Hall's there to pick it up. 50 seconds to play in a 36-19 ball game. Mountain Crest with the lead. Rebound by Nethercott. Turn in, miss. Rebound. Ace for the Tigers. Jackson Clark dribbles across the timeline. White for 3. Got it. Carson White with 7 points in the quarter, 9 in the game. 36-22 Mountain Crest, 18 seconds. Folger trying to get the pass from Hall, and Hall didn't leave it there for him as Clark on the other end takes the lob, and he has 7, and it's back to a 12-point deficit for the Tigers. It was up to 19 for the Mustangs. And now a timeout Mountain Crest, 30-second timeout with 9.3 seconds to play in the first half. Mountain leading by 12. Here's the steal. Hall tried to leave it off for Folger. Jackson Clark had a little trouble handling the pass, then he lobs it up to Hunter Clark, and he lays it in to bring the Tigers to within 12. We mentioned a young team, only 2 seniors on this entire roster. A lot of the kids that played basketball for the Mustangs last year ended up going to Ridgeline. And with 9.3 seconds left in the first half, the Mustangs look to get the final shot. Leading by 12. Hall across the timeline, looks for Nethercott, finds him, Nethercott misses, rebound by Folger, no, he loses it, and a foul called on Folger. They're gonna call Creedon Folger for the foul, the push off, and instead of Mountain Crest getting the last shot, Ogden will get free throws at the other end. Watch, you see Folger put a little bit of a shoulder into the Tiger, into the, who was it? Hunter Clark's back. Gave him just a little bit of a shove. The official saw it, and Clark steps to the line, hits the first free throw. He can pull the Tigers to within 10 with 1.2 seconds left on the clock. Clark hits them both. It's a 10-point ball game. Nethercott fires away at the buzzer, and it's well short. So the Mustangs with a double-digit lead, but the Tigers showing some fight here in the game of the week. Mountain Crest leads Auburn 36-26 at the half.
The more you learn about your insurance, the more gaps you may find. Like how you think you have coverage for this when you only have coverage for this.
That's not homework.
Talk to farmers and see what gaps could be hiding in your coverage.
We are farmers. Bum, bum,
bum. Give us a call at 752-9493. You'll be glad you did.
Becoming established doesn't happen overnight. It isn't awarded by one single act. Being established comes from a lifetime of holding on to what is most important, even when it is most difficult. Being established doesn't mean doing what's always been done. It means doing what's right. Lewiston State Bank, established in 1905, established for your future.
Well, the Capriels getting set to perform here at the half. Mountain Crest leading by 10. They're trying to work out the audio for the Capriels here. Having trouble with their music. And you can't dance unless there's music. It's just this weird thing. I have heard, though, that playing too much rap will ruin sound systems. They do that a lot at basketball games. It ruins old man's ears like mine. Back in my day. 10-point lead for the Mustangs. They led by as many as 19 in this one while they continue to work with the music. Cordell Welch with 12 points in the first half. Nick Nethercott with 10. 5 apiece for Brady Hall and David Faitha. And a bucket apiece for Creedon Folger and Keone Tupuola. The Tigers were led by Hunter Clark and Carson White. They had 9 points apiece. Jackson Clark had 4 points, as did Carson Warner. Nobody else scored. Nobody else scored there in the first half for Ogden. 18 points in the second quarter for Ogden. 20 for the Mustangs. It's Mountain Crest led by 8 at the end of the quarter, and here we go.